If you click this video, then you're most likely a filmmaker who was like me, someone who was not confident and would constantly compare themselves to other people's work, which would hinder my ability to actually go out and create projects. And this isn't a bad thing because it just took a little bit of rewiring of my thoughts, which I'm gonna share with you in this video. Firstly, if you don't know me, my name is Matt, and I'm a filmmaker who came from the lighting department and now post videos on this YouTube channel where I talk about my journey, I share projects, insights, failures, and sort of everything I've learned along the way. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, consider subscribing. Now let's hop into the video. Number 1, be the cavalry. There's this one video I have saved from this director. His name is tless, and he talks about being the cavalry.
Every single project I have made, I've had to self-generate. And I kind of want the cavalry to come and just offer me some jobs. And this is the really, really hard truth. Cavalry is not coming. How is it possible that the cavalry is not coming anymore? I've done so much. And the good news of this is, who gives a fuck about the cavalry? Because now you are the cavalry. If you can accept that the cavalry won't come and just make yourself into the cavalry, it has your best chance of maintaining success. But more importantly, which we don't talk a lot about in this industry, it gives you a chance to be happy.
Seeing this clip was such a light bulb moment for me because I think the true leaders in this industry have this mentality of, I'm gonna lead the cavalry and I'm gonna make my projects happen. Even if I don't have the proper resources, the proper budget, the proper gear, they're not taking no for an answer. They're just being relentless and making their projects happen no matter what. And I think if you can have this attitude toward your projects, that's gonna make you more confident because you're not taking no for an answer, you're just going out and making things happen. I think it's so easy to fall into that trap of just waiting for that perfect project to land in your lap. I know this because I used to be like this. I feel like I wasted 2 or 3 years of my filmmaking career by just waiting for the phone to ring until I realized one day, like, I'm sick and tired of waiting. I'm just gonna go out and make the things that I wanna make. And I realized in doing that process, I have to be the one that's leading the cavalry. If you've followed this channel before, then you know I was really dead set on being a DP and very fixated on that. I wanted to meet the right person in order to catapult me into just DPing, where it actually hindered me from going out and just creating projects regardless of what my title is. It made me neglect other parts of the craft like editing, producing, directing, and just getting projects off the ground because in reality, I was scared to be the person leading the cavalry because that's a scary role. Your name is front and center on something and you have like full responsibility over whether that project turns out or not. Take Corduroy as an example. Like, no one hired me to go out and shoot that project. That was me just taking a risk on myself and going all in on my ideas and using what I have at my disposal, not using that as an excuse. Number 2, everyone is scared shitless. I think there's this misconception that filmmakers who are ahead of us and creating these beautiful pieces of work are these fearless people. I think if you're an artist and you're trying to create something, you're scared shitless at every point in the process. There's a video titled on my channel, Why You're No Longer Passionate as a Filmmaker. Go and watch that one as well. And in that one, that was during the production of Corduroy. I remember being scared shitless in that video, and I think you can see it in that video as well, but I didn't know if my project was gonna work out. I was just there on a whim, trusting my idea and trusting myself. And I think it just takes a little bit of just pushing yourself and just trucking along and telling yourself by any means necessary, I'm gonna just try to make this happen and see what happens from there. It's so easy to look at other filmmakers' work and put it on a pedestal and only viewing it at face value, but there's not a doubt in my mind that that filmmaker was definitely scared at one point in the process. Even for me personally, every time I go to write a new idea, every time I step onto set, every time I open up my editing software, every time I'm about to post a project, I'm scared shitless at all those stages of the process. And it's just learning to persevere through that and learning to work with it. When you start to flex those muscles as a filmmaker, it will definitely get easier, but by no means does that feeling ever go away. It's just learning to persevere through it, and it gets easier once you have built up momentum behind you. Number 3, study work that you admire. We are constantly surrounded by amazing work from other filmmakers and artists, and I think it's your job as a filmmaker to study it. For me personally, I like to save, analyze, and revisit every time I go and create a project. That usually starts with frame set. It's always my go-to starting point when finding the visual language of my films or getting collaborators on the same page. You can go through thousands of curated stills from movies, commercials, and music videos. If you put the mood boards I created beside the final images from the projects, you could see the DNA of the references. You can use the code Aitia to get 10% off when you sign up. It's important to not only look at these images, but ask yourself, what do I like about these images? is. Is it the color, the framing, the lighting, the subject matter, the location, or the set design? Learn to be analytical and you'll find yourself bridging the gap between the work you like and the work that you're capable of creating. Number 4, embrace your perspective. Try to tap into what you know and what you like. It wasn't up until recently for me that I had this realization that I want to just be making the projects that I want to make. That's why I'm sort of focusing more on this YouTube channel, because it's going to be allowing me to do that. And that doesn't mean all my ideas are going to align with the broadest audience and everyone's going to like your stuff. But I think that's totally fine. That's why I went out to shoot corduroy, because that was something that interested me. And I know for most people on the channel, they're probably not interested in watching that video, and that's totally fine. I'm embracing my perspective and something that I wanted to see, something that I wanted to explore, and I'm happy I did as well. When you do things just because you think other people are gonna enjoy them, it's gonna be a lot harder to follow through on that process because the passion won't be there. I wanna tap back into that authenticity because that's what fuels me as a filmmaker. It's a lot more rewarding when something is personal and your own stamp is on it versus you just creating like a carbon copy of somebody else's work. Number 5, document your process. I think if you go back a few years on this channel and watch some of my older videos, you could see somebody who's less confident, more shy, and more timid. And by having this YouTube channel, I'm able to document my progress and see how far I've come as a filmmaker. That way, when I am hit with that doubt, I can just watch one of those older videos and just look at myself and be like, look how far you've come as a filmmaker. I wouldn't have that if I didn't have this YouTube channel. But I think you should be documenting your progress somehow. I have a freelance filmmaker work tracker that I use every single day for myself. I input what I did that day and it spits out a chart at the very bottom. I'll link that below. But I think you should be writing down somewhere in a notepad, in a journal, something to just track your progress as a filmmaker is gonna help you along the way. Just like a business keeps track of how much money they're earning, you should be doing the same as a filmmaker with the progress that you're making. I think it's so easy to just let time pass and not know that you're improving, but figure out what landmark works for you to know you're improving. It could be making more money, it could be networking with more people, it could be improving your portfolio and creating work that you're more proud of. Figure out what improvement looks like to you and keep on revisiting that. I hope you put this advice to practice and start to feel more confident as a filmmaker. It's gonna take time, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. If you made it this far in the video, then thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next.